between the T-800 and the Predator, who would win? T-800 has the shotgun, AR, and laser gun magnum pistol. The Predator has his cloak device, mask, first blade. I'm going to have to say it's a tough one, and technically the Terminators and Predators have fought before in the ghastly, and I know someone asked me this question, I'll go further into it, the downright horrific crossover that is Alien versus Predator versus Terminator. If someone out there who's read the comic likes it, that's totally fine. Me personally, I just couldn't stand it. I mean, you have Fox's biggest three science fiction properties all together in one big knockdown, drag-out fight, and you make it the most boring, most fan-fiction-y piece of crap I have ever read. No, I've read some worse crossovers. Official crossovers, mind you. But anyway, yeah, kind of already happened before. So anyway, thank you for those questions, Ujuros. Moving on now to Jason Voorhees 2011, who asks, favorite Terminator model? Mine's the classic, yours the classic T-800. I gotta go with T-800 too. I've got to give it to the T-800 as well. It just has such a simplistic yet scary design to it. And again, like I said, it's just like this walking humanoid tank that it takes a lot to just destroy. So, you got to throw everything you have at this killer machine and pray to God it works. So, I got to give it to the T-800. I really do. Anyway, so second question. Let's say Judgment Day occurred in the Steven universe. If Connie, Steven, and the Gems, managed to survive, how would they react and try to survive against the endless hordes of machines that Skynet will send after them? And how do you think John Connor and the rest of them would react if they joined the Resistance? I think the magical space gems can trump robots. I'm just saying. And I think it would be interesting to see the gems, and the rest of Beach City kind of weather out this whole horrible event, but I think they'd be unharmed because the gems have fought giant monsters and space aliens. Well, their own kind, I should say. But yeah, I think a few robots could be handled, especially by, Steven and his crew. So, yeah. Third question. What Terminator comics would you recommend? You see, here's the problem. I haven't read a lot of Terminator comics because a lot of them suck. It's not like with the Alien and Predator comics where some of them are really good and some of them are just really bad. Side note, go read Alien Salvation by Dave Gibbons and Mike Mignola. It is frickin' brilliant. But yeah, there's not a lot of good Terminator comics because they all try to rip off the Terminator plot again and again and again. There's not a lot of originality to them. And the crossovers, oh god, the crossovers. Well, like I said, the Frank Miller Terminator vs. RoboCop crossover is fun, but it's also insane. Alien vs. Predator vs. Terminator is just, fan fiction to the nth degree. And Superman vs. Terminator, which I actually own, it's not terrible, it's just meh. It's just a lot of meh going on. So, I don't know what I could tell you on that, Jason. I'm really sorry, but yeah, majority of them just range from meh to go burn in the fire. So, thank you for those questions, Jason. Moving on now to Predator Warrior 18, who asks, not asking who would win a fight, but which of these four do you think is physically stronger? T-800 Terminator, Darth Vader, the Predator, or Jason? Also not counting Jason and Vader's other powers. Okay, I'd have to give it to Vader. I've seen this dude, without his powers, lift up a walker in the extended universe. Just push it off of him. Not in Rebels, but I'm actually saying, not in the Rebels scene, in the scene in Star Wars Rebels, where he's using the Force to lift up the walker. I'm not talking about that. In one comic, he had a walker fall on, he's just like, get this shit off me, and just throws it. Jason's pretty strong, too. But I'm going to give it to Vader. This guy thanks to his cybernetic implants, it allows him to lift quite a lot. Anyway, so thank you for that question, Predator Warrior. Moving on now to Shank X, who asks, if something like Terminator happened in real life, do you truly think the human race would survive? Oh, no. No. Do you think people will go too far with AI like with Skynet? It's a strong possibility if you've seen robotics and AI programs as it is. It's just, it's kind of like Terminator was a warning sign that no one bothered to listen to, I feel like. Not to say it will happen. It might if we make something that smart, but hopefully someone will be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't make it that smart. Anyway, so I think that those questions X. Moving on now to Action Fan 19, who asks, James Spader Ultron meets Matt Smith Skynet. How many insults Ultron could spit out before they fight? Quite a lot. That's all I could say on the matter. What's your favorite Terminator reference in any media? Favorite Terminator reference? I don't know. I really don't know. Really don't know. Because a lot of them are... There's so many that are good. It's not to say they're bad. It's just not a lot... a lot of them are really good. Alright. A lot of them are pretty good, so I can't really pick one, honestly. Third question. If the Terminators were in any comic book universe, would they eventually try to upgrade themselves with superpowers like the Sentinels from X-Men? Probably, yeah. Probably. More than likely. Yeah. I mean, hell, in the Terminator-Superman crossover, there were Terminators that were built to fight Superman. And other DC characters. So, yeah. Anyway. So, thank you for those questions, Action Fan. Moving on now to Andrew Varney, who asks, so the T-800 ends up in the DBZ universe. How might Android 16, Major Metallatron, Dr. Giro, Arel, and Mira from DBZ X Xenoverse react to him? They'd laugh. They'd just point and laugh at him like, oh, you can only use a gun? Ha 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 ha. I am laughing. This would be Android 16 reaction. Ha ha. No, they'd all just point and laugh because, literally, the T-800 is... Like Yamcha could beat the T-800. And I'm giving Yamcha a lot of credit here. Anyway. The T-800 ends up in... Second question. The T-800 ends up in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza at night. So what happens next? Terminator gonna kill some robots. Now it's his turn to point and laugh. Alright. Final question. Skynet involves any of the following places: Atmos, Skaro, Mondas, homeworld of the Cybermen, Ponyville, Delos Theme Park from Westworld, Isla Nublar, Danville, or Gravity Falls. Which of those places would hold out the longest and repel the Terminators? Honestly, if the Terminators went to Mondas or Skaro, they wouldn't last a week. Not even a week. Not even 3 days. The Daleks, especially Skaro. Skaro would be the one that would be like, really? You're gonna send You didn't see what we did to the Cybermen in Series 2, did ya? This is gonna be a fun experience for us. Come on, boys. Yeah, so I'd have to say Skaro and the Daleks. Cybermen, second place. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Andrew Varney. Moving on now to Carlotta Studios. Before we go any further, Carlotta, I do hope you're watching this. A while back, I talked about how, I threw out an idea for an X-Men Stormhawks crossover that I always kind of wanted to do, but never really was able to do it. And Carlotta posted a comment saying that she'd love to do it. So, Carlotta, first off, thank you for liking the idea. Secondly, full blessing, you can go ahead with that story. I can't wait to read it, so long as you, send me a link to show, I want to see it, when you finally write. No rush at all. I understand you got other projects, but yeah, when you finally get around to it, let me see the work, because I'd really like to see it, but yeah. Anyway, so, onward with the questions. And your first question is, what is your favorite Terminator movie and why? My favorite Terminator movie would have to be like everyone else. It'd have to be T2, because T2, Terminator 2 is like, it's like one of those movies that is just memorable, and it's probably one of the best movies. It's like Empire Strikes Back or, Back to the Future. It's one of those movies you have to watch if you're a movie lover. It's like required movie watching, and it's just perfection. Yeah. Anyway, second question. What do you think the Stormhawks would react to watching the Terminator movies? not asking if they met the Terminator, just think of the movies. Yeah, I could see the Arrow and all of them hanging out and watching a Terminator marathon. The first two, they'd be like, "Oh, this is so cool, and look at all that, explosions and Arnold." Terminator 3 through Genesis, they'd be like, "I'm confused, bored, and I don't care anymore." Yeah. Anyway. So, thank you for those questions, Carlotta Studios. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, what will happen if the T-800 travels back in time and met up with the androids 16, 17, 18 during the Cell Saga? Like I said before, they'd point and laugh at him. Alright, which Terminator do you think has a better chance of killing Wolverine? The original T-800 or the T-1000? I think the T-1000 has a better chance of killing Wolverine. Adamantium don't count for shit against liquid metal. But yeah, if the T-800 was fighting Wolverine, it would just be like, I'm taking you back to Oz in pieces, Tin Man. There you go, X-Men 90s reference. Yay. So yeah, I'd have to go with the T-1000. What are your thoughts, and your final question is, what are your thoughts on the Terminator versus RoboCop crossovers? Whether it be from comics, fanfiction, or the Death Battle episode. I like the Death Battle episode. I thought that was pretty fun. But like I said, the Terminator and RoboCop crossovers are really just crazy out there, for the most part. So that's all I can say, really. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Andre Partridge. Moving on now to Hekalos, who asks, would Battlestar and Terminator cross over well? I don't think so, unless they do the whole alternate time, crossing alternate timelines and all that. Aliens versus Predator versus Terminator. Yeah, that crossover was a failure, in my opinion. Third question is: should the series revert to James Cameron and cross over with Battle Angel? I've never watched Battle Angel. I don't think it. And yeah, James Cameron never really owned the rights. Those were his movies, that he directed. But yeah, those were never under his control. He just got to direct. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Hekalos. Moving on now to Whipwreck69, who asks, do you think the T-1000 would make a good anti-hero or anti-villain? He just makes a very good villain. That's all I can say. No anti to it, just villain. Second question, would a crossover between Terminator and Time Cop work? I think that could work, yeah. Time Cop, time-traveling police officer, trying to fix moments in time, yeah. I could roll with that. I'm surprised that didn't happen. Third question, would the Marvel Universe take on Skynet and all the Terminator mods? It's a possibility. Possibility, that's all I can say. Alright. Moving on, thank you for those questions, Whipwreck. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler, who asks, how would the Eds and the kids of Peach Creek survive the future where Skynet has taken over? Could they survive? I don't know. I mean, Ed would be the only one really prepared for it because, well, the dude read so much sci-fi. The Kankers would too. I mean, they've got a high survival rating, so it's a possibility. I mean, Jimmy ain't got no chance. Has got a snowball's chance in hell. So aside from Jimmy, everyone's fair game. Second question: Vingix, Ultron, and Skynet team up to accomplish their own goals. How screwed is the multiverse? Very screwed. Third question: what would happen if the Skynet what would happen if when Skynet nuked the planet, it woke up Godzilla and the other Toho kaiju? What happens? Do you think Skynet would develop its own version of Mechagodzilla, or leave the kaiju and maybe just direct it on the human-resistant camps? A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Although I would like to see a Skynet version of Mechagodzilla. That'd be beyond kick-ass. So, thank you for those questions, Wolfman. Moving on now to Kennedy Samara Cody, who asks, if you could direct a new Terminator movie, what would it be about? Like I said, I think I would focus more on other resistance groups trying to survive a skirmish with the Terminators and go on their own missions. Kind of like what in Star Wars, what they're going to do with Star Wars Rogue One, where it's just basically a mission to get the Death Star planned. So maybe have it that this band of resistance fighters from like Texas or Oregon or even from another country are just banding together to survive. And